What is going on, guys? My name is Lextasy. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be talking about my 2017 Audi R8 V10 Plus. Now this one does have a twin turbo kit from Sheepy. It's got a stage 1 kit on it, about 850 horsepower. That is not the point of this conversation or this video. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 things I like and 5 things I hate or dislike about my R8. Now we are going to focus on as if it was just a stock car, obviously, to make it fair. If you are in the market looking for one, I'm going to tell you exactly what I love about having this car for about 5 months now, and 5 things that I completely cannot stand. And I'm going to be very transparent, very honest with you guys. But without further ado, guys, let's get this video going, and we are definitely going to take it for a drive as well in just a few minutes. So let's jump right in. The first thing I want to talk about is the looks. This thing is so beautiful, and what I love about it is, even though it's pretty much a Lamborghini and an Audi chassis, or the powertrain is the same, it's got the V10, transmission is the same, which is the 7-speed dual clutch. It's literally the same car in and out, but a lot more comfortable to drive from what I hear, which is always a big plus because I am dailying this car. Mine has 55,000 miles on it, so I would say it's been officially broken in, and it does have a lot of stories to tell as well. But if you want to see those stories or hear about those stories, check out my other videos. This bad boy gets a lot of attention, but it's the good type of attention. Now what do I mean by that? When you park a Lamborghini, let's say at the mall or somewhere at the grocery store, people know what that is. They know it's a Lamborghini, whether they're a car person or not. They want to go and jump on it, they want to take photos on it, they want to touch the car. Not really as much attention on this thing, even though it's the same platform, which is a big plus in my opinion, because I can park this at a restaurant, go eat food with my wife, and I'm not worried about somebody jumping on the car. And quite honestly, mine is actually debadged, which is a big plus, because without the badging, nobody knows if it's an Audi. They don't know what they're looking at, and if they do know, that means they're a car person. And most of the time, car people, well, I would say they kind of take care of other people's vehicles, and if they do take photos, they're actually pretty respectful with it. They take it from far away. They're not touching the car, they're not touching anything or sitting on it. So in my opinion, the looks are beautiful. There's literally not a single bad spot on this car. The flow of the body is amazing, the front, the rear. It's those little subtle sexy look of the car, and that is why it's number 1 on my list of things that I truly love about this R8. And the number 2 thing on my list of things that I truly love about this Audi R8 has to be the reliability and the powertrain itself, which is, like I said, the V10 5.2 liter massive motor connected to a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. This platform is literally bulletproof. Now mine is a twin turbo. Mine is pushed way past the limits of what it's supposed to do from factory, so I've had a little bit of issues with the transmission. But when I bought the car, we did a compression test, and all 10 cylinders checked out. They all have over 160 psi of pressure, so that's a good thing. There's no blow by. It doesn't need oil, it doesn't need coolant, and even though it's been modified for God knows how long, and it was even done before my previous owner of this car, with the twin turbo kit, this car is running great. It sounds so amazing. If you go on Car Gurus, I counted at least 10 or 11 Audi R8s, starting from all the way from 08 and up, that have well over 60,000 miles that are for sale. And even the Gen 1 R8s, which is 08 to 14, which are not as reliable, or they're known for that, and they have a single clutch in the transmission, they're still selling for great money. And like I said, they have over 60,000 miles on them. No problems whatsoever. This is actually my second Audi R8. I had a Gen 1, it was a 2014, which is the only year where it has a dual clutch, and that one still has kind of a different transmission, even though it's a dual clutch, so it's not as reliable. But again, over 11 R8s that I just found on Car Gurus that are for sale with over 60,000 miles. Look at Lamborghini Huracans. How many of those have high mileage, and they're still selling for great money, and they don't have any issues whatsoever. The powertrain is known to hold from factory on the long block, or the motor itself, up to 1,500 horsepower untouched. You don't have to open it, you don't have to do a head gasket, you don't have to do anything. You can hold a ton of power. Some actually have the stock transmission in them, and they're pushing over 1,100 horsepower from factory, untouched, just with the turbo kit and the fuel system. That is crazy. To get those numbers on any other platform in the exotic world, you're talking stupid money. You got to build the transmission, you got to build the motor, like the GTRs. Yeah, well, you are talking about a 6-cylinder engine after all, but it is a dual clutch and supposed to be an amazing vehicle. But I've had 2 GTRs myself, and I can promise you this is a night and day difference between both of them. So definitely go with the R8. And the number 3 on my list, which technically probably should be number 1 on my list, is the sound this V10 makes, especially straight pipe. Now I do have turbos behind the exhaust, or the engine, so it adds a little bit more extra sounds to it. But I just want you to hear how crazy this exhaust comes out here. I'm just going to do a few revs. Now I did put the camera to the side because I'm not trying to blow out the microphone, but This right here is the main reason why I bought this car and why I love the V10 platform. In my humble opinion, best engine ever made and best sound that comes out of an engine. What did I just tell you? Like, oh my God, that is so beautiful. Like, I would rather listen to this over any other sound out of any other car. Literally, I don't listen to any music when I drive this car at all. And I have my windows down. I don't care if it's 30 degrees outside because this is the best sounding motor ever made. Now, for the number 4 on my list of things that I truly love about this car, I do have to take you inside the R8, which we're about to drive in a second. And that is the interior and how just driver oriented it is with little to no distractions whatsoever. Now, let's get inside this car real quick so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. So this right here is the only digital screen that you get to see. There's no other distractions. This car is completely oriented towards the driver, and I kind of like how it's got this thing even separating you from the climate and everything else here, like changing your navigation, radio, just a shifter, because honestly, you don't need access to any of that. The passenger can control that themselves. Your job is to be a responsible driver and to be able to have everything on your steering wheel. So you have the, of course, the driver mode. So you got the sport, comfort, individual, you got the push button start. You do have just a few features for the entertainment system if you needed them, really. And you, of course, you got the features on this side as well. So basically on the left side of your steering wheel controls everything on this small little screen on the left. Everything on the right side controls everything on this. This is the only digital screen you get, which shows you the speedometer and the tachometer, of course, so the RPMs. And then, of course, on the left side, you get to see, well, if your door is open, but also what music you're listening to, what's the miles per gallon, your navigation if you truly need it. That's it. That's all you need. On the right side, you get to see more features like your trench temp and, of course, your air pressure for your tires and their temperature as well, which, of course, are important things whenever you're tracking a car, so you can keep track of all that. So there's literally nothing blinding you or distracting you. Like, even the Lamborghini Huracan has a massive screen right here with the Apple CarPlay and everything like that. Everything you need in R8 is right there in front of you. The rest is yours to conquer. We're on the road now. Let's give it a quick pull first. I want you to hear this. Sounds so good, man. Love this car to death. I don't see myself ever getting rid of this thing, honestly, unless it, you know, decides to explode on me, which if that happens, we'll probably end up just fixing it. Everybody's staring at the gas station. I love, man. And the last thing on my list, but it's just as important as anything else, is the depreciation, which, well, actually in this case is going to be the appreciation. Now, what do I mean by that? Everybody knows when you're buying an exotic, your number one scared thing on your list, well, if you're financing and, you know, unless you got baller cash, you can just pay cash for it and not care about depreciation, is depreciation. And what I mean by that is Lamborghini, McLaren, Audis, all the high-end stuff tends to depreciate literally when you drive it off the lot. It's just a known fact. It's just something you deal with whenever you make the decision to buy an exotic. You expect to lose $10,000 to $20,000 when you sell it, unless you just, you know, keep it as a barn queen or garage queen, which is unfortunate. I don't know why you buy a car if you're not going to have fun with it. All right, I'm moving. Get out of your way, Mrs. Scion. Whew, she sounds so good. But in this case with the R8s, and why I'm telling you, you don't have to be worried about buying one, is they're appreciating and they're going up in value. And the reason for that is because, well, this 2023 year is the last year they're making R8s as you know them. With the V10 motor, dual clutch transmission, they're going hybrid, they're going electric. Unfortunately, that's the way the government is pushing everything, and unfortunately, that's going to hit Audi. And as we know, there is a replacement coming for the Huracan already. It just got spotted making absolutely no noise whatsoever, which is very unfortunate, and it tells me it's going to be electric or slash hybrid probably. They'll stuff some sort of a turbo engine in there, but it's not going to be the same. Everybody wants the V8, the V10, the V12 engines when they go away. It's just the way it happens, man. People get the hype for it, just like you're seeing happen with the Aventadors, right? So unfortunately, the days of seeing an Aventador, whether it's a 2012 or a little bit newer, going for less than 200,000 are long gone. That is the sad truth of it, but everybody wants the V12, and now they went to the Revuelto, I think is what they made, which is like a hybrid electric car making about 1,000 horsepower. Looks great, don't get me wrong. It's not the same thing. Like if my dream car is an Aventador SV, SVJ, I will daily drive that thing. I promise you, like that will never ever be a car that doesn't see rain or snow. I will have the best time of my life in that car. I don't care about the mileage. It's all about enjoying that V12 naturally aspirated, that angry bull sound that we all love and love to see on video and in person, of course. Now let's move on to the list of 5 things I completely hate about this car. And the number one on this thing has to be the Lambo tax that you have to pay. And you're gonna be like, what are you talking about? Well, look, there's such a thing as a Lambo tax, a Ferrari tax, a GTR tax, a McLaren tax. It means you bought a car that you paid a lot of money for, and now you're gonna pay even more money to service that car, right? That's one thing that people don't understand. It's great to buy a $160,000, $170,000 car. It looks cool, makes the right noises, everybody loves it, but then you got to take care of that car. You got to pay for oil changes, which are not just $100, $200 for an R8. You're up there. God forbid you got to do brakes, which these have carbon ceramics. I don't even want to know how much those are, including the brake pads as well. I mean, you're talking thousands of dollars per wheel that you have to do. If you need to do a transmission flush, a diff flush, if something fails in the car, like the AC compressors that are sometimes known to go out on these things, good luck. Good freaking luck finding one. Now, it doesn't stop there. You want to modify this car? Oh, you want to put a twin turbo kit on your, I don't know, your Nissan, your Toyota, your 350Z, 370Z, any other car, literally. A Ford Mustang, you want to Whipple supercharge it, right? $10,000, maybe $15,000. Try $60,000 for a turbo kit for this car. It's the same intercooler piping you use on any other kits. It comes from the same place. It's the same turbos that Precision makes, Garrett makes. It's literally everything the same, right? But because you're putting it in the R8, because you're putting in a Lamborghini, you're paying more. And don't get me started about the Motec system, which obviously this has 2 engine ECUs, 1 for each bank. So you're paying twice as much to get that. You literally just got to expect to pay Lambo tax. So even though you bought an R8, because you share the same platform as a Lamborghini Huracan, you're going to pay for the same parts. If I was to open the trunk, if only you could see how many Volkswagen logos are across the whole hood and the whole compartment and the engine and the piping and the hoses and everything else. But you're paying more just because you said it's in an Audi R8. But you can find them cheaper in the Volkswagen. Now, I know I've done a lot of talking, but now let's actually listen to the sound of this car, right? And how amazing it sounds. So America, dude, that crackle, man, that crackle is glorious. Woo-hoo-hoo. And you get that whether you have a turbo kit or not. That V10 just loves to make the right noises, man. If you get the right tune on it, I'm telling you, you can't go wrong with this car. Let's give it a little more. Oh my goodness, man. Just, you don't even have to be full throttle. I love this car. Woo! That blow-off valve is doing some work. All right, okay. I see you. Oh my goodness, this car is just on another level of insane. And the number 2 on my list of things I don't like about the car has to be just the sounds it makes, man. Like, it's got 55,000 miles, but for whatever reason, it sounds like it's falling apart. I kid you not. So whenever I'm driving, here's what I'm hearing. I hear that right there. I hear this, like, it feels like it's gonna fall apart. I hear this. Like, it's, you know, it's a known Audi issue, right? I had an RS7, I've had an RS6, I've had an S4, I've had them all. I've had an SQ7, and all of the Audi cars always make these noises. Now, I know a lot of luxury cars do the same thing, right? An S-Class Mercedes, a 7 Series BMW, they all start falling apart after like 30,000. That's why when the warranty expires, you want to get rid of it. Now, I know you're like, man, dude, you just spent 160,000, what are you complaining about? But that's the whole point. When you spend that big of a money, you kind of expect things to last a little longer than 50,000 miles. It's just whenever you hit a pothole and everything feels like it's going to fall apart, it's kind of nerve-wracking to say the least. All right, and the number 3 on my list has got to be the brakes. I don't know what the problem is. It just squeaks every time you come up to a red light or stop sign. I know this has carbon ceramics, but watch. It sounds like you couldn't afford brakes, honestly. So we're pulling up to a stop sign right now, watch. So embarrassing. Why does it do that? Like, I understand carbon ceramics are like the top of the line thing and everybody wants them, but like, can we not make them a little less embarrassing? Watch, I'm just cruising right now through a parking lot. Oh, it's just such a cringe moment, man. It's like $160,000 car, your brakes sound like they're about to fall apart at the next red light. Yeah, very embarrassing. And now we move on to number 4 on my list, and that has to be this right here, the ground clearance, right? So the Lamborghini Huracans, which, you know, they're about 60 grand more, same chassis, they get front lift, so I think it's an option. So literally this thing will raise another 3 inches or so. I don't know if you noticed, but this front lip right here that's carbon fiber and stupid expensive is literally completely destroyed, and half of that is not even my fault yet. It was already done before I bought the car, and now that I bought it and I live in the mountains, every speed bump, every turn you take going uphill, you're completely going to destroy the front end of this car. So even though this right here seems like it, you know, about 6-7 inches off the ground, but it kind of curves down on the sides, and I'm missing chunks of carbon fiber already. And to add insult to injury, I just bought a front lip kit for this car and side skirts, which I bought before I bought the car, but it's taken this long to get here because it's custom made. So unfortunately, yeah, those won't last long either, and they're carbon fiber, so that's $1,000 gone right out the window. Now the number 5 on my list, which is the last thing, but I promise you it's not the least, has to do with technology, right? It's the lack of technology in this 2017 Audi R8, which is the first year of Gen 2, and everybody's going to be looking for that because they're starting to dip really close to that $110,000, $115,000 mark. Now a lot of you are going to say, Alex, you just said, hey man, this car is specifically made to be driven and focus on the driving and enjoy the experience, not on the technology, right? That's why it only has one little digital screen and that's it. And you're absolutely right. Now here's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about having, you know, Apple CarPlay, which unfortunately it doesn't have either, or having a massive DVD screens and a bunch of touch screens and stuff like that. I'm talking about the safety technology, the things that you need to be able to park this thing anywhere in the parking lot and not ding up the front and the back. It does have a backup camera. It does have parking sensors in the front and the rear that are complete trash. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. You think that this thing is seeing the curb, it doesn't see nothing, especially in the front. You think you still got 10 feet away because it's beeping at you barely, you're already under the curb. You drove over the curb and you're on the other side of it. That's how bad the parking sensors are. So what I'm saying here is, why not add an extra camera in the front? It's a little bit of weight, right? Weight is a big thing when it comes to sports cars, but it's like half a pound, if that, with wiring and all. You just plug up a front camera and have it working. And the second thing would be blind spot monitors. This thing has massive B pillars, no rear view vision at all because of the engine in the back. So why not add just an extra parking sensor in the rear, which would work for blind spot monitors as well? It's kind of like driving on the highway in this car, which is awesome, everybody's looking at you, but then you don't notice that there's a Ram 3500 dually on your left and you're about to swerve. If he runs over you, it's a speed bump. He won't feel a thing. You're dead. It's just like, add a small little parking sensor on each side of the bumper that works for the blind spot, because that's all it is. It just feels like there's a lot of blind spots in this car, or things that they could have added knowing that this is a super low car. Like I said, your front lip is going to be completely destroyed within a few months of owning it, just being completely honest, unless you're going to park 5 feet away from the curb and then get out and look and be like, okay, I can move a little bit further and keep inching that way. But unfortunately, that's how it goes with owning a sports car. Just expect to pay for repairs whether you want it or not, especially cosmetic repairs. But that is my list of 5 things I love and dislike about this car, guys. Overall, buy it the first chance you get. Buy it. Like I said, appreciation is a massive thing that's going to be hitting these cars really soon, but they're super comfortable. They're the eye lookers, but you're not paying stupid money for them. And quite honestly, $120,000, $130,000 for a V10 all-wheel drive car is a perfect price point. My insurance is $115 a month. That's insane. That's less than my wife's Durango Hellcat that is like $200 a month, probably because they get stolen so often. But if you did enjoy this content, definitely drop a like and a comment. Tell me what you think. Do you have an R8? Are you planning to get one? What should I compare this car to? Should I compare him to a GTR? Should I compare him to some sort of a McLaren? I don't know. Let me know, but I'll be more than happy to do a comparison video for you guys. Subscribe down below. Enjoy your lives, enjoy your cars, and I will see you next time.